Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Be Real, Get Real podcast. I am your host, Nancy Matthews, and this is our show where we have the opportunity to speak with some of our members, some extraordinary women who share the real and raw about how they go through life. And today I have God bless you, whoever that was. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing you to a woman who is very busy, very connected, very awesome. She is in the travel industry and has been for over 30 years. Please help me welcome Geraldine Blanchard, better known as Gerry. Hello, my friend.
Good morning. And as I was mentioning to you, what an honor for me to be, featured with you, Nancy, and you have my entire admiration. You know that for many years I've been watching you. And so I feel very grateful that I can be with you today.
Thank you for that. I am humbled, and it's really a privilege to be with you today and have you share some of your story. So just a little bit of background. So first of all, most recently, in terms of dealing with challenges and being able to come through them, Gerry is in the travel industry. And as we well know with COVID, that industry was probably the most hard hit, if not one of them. So share with our audience a little bit of what you've done to be able to come through not just the most recent challenge, but challenges throughout your life. Correct. With such a good spirit. Like that's what amazes me about you.
First of all, why am I in the travel business? Because my mother, who were originally from the island of Haiti, and my mother was a very successful travel agent doing tours. She was at the very beginning of when tours were becoming popular. And I remember at the tender age of 8, 9 years old, she would take one of us with her and never realizing I was in training. And later on in life, we moved from Haiti to the Virgin Islands, met my husband, and he took me to the Middle East, and I was living there for many years. We educated the kids there, but I was in charge of the travel program there for all of the employees. It was an American company, and we lived on a compound, and once a year we had to leave the compound. So I was getting a little bit of training there too. And then we came to Melbourne in 95 and opened up Global Tours. And one thing led to another, and we're a full service agency. But eventually I realized that my expertise was to escort groups of people around the world, which I did, China, India, Africa, etc. And it was what a pleasure. And at the same time, serving personal, individual trips for anyone who cared to go. And we're still doing that. Of course, like Nancy said, we came back from Australia, never forget, on the 7th of March. And the 9th of March, I realized it was all over, so to speak. And so the next year, we endeavored to make it right for all our clients. In other words, refunding. I spent literally a whole 8 months in the office alone, and we were processing refunds. And it had to be that.
Yeah, and let me share that with travel, it is so easy to just jump on the internet, book your old stuff, but are you really being taken care of? Are you being protected? And I think for anyone who had to deal with cancellations and refunds during that time, how would they have loved to have you on their team? Yes. Right. So make sure work with a travel professional. It makes such a difference.
Right. It doesn't cost you because the companies pay us. But what happened is that it was so unbelievable. It took us hours. Every transaction was, it wasn't done in one day. And so, yes, Asta always says, without a travel agent, you're on your own. And it served him right. People were over the moon to realize how well we took care of them. And I am happy to say all my clients were well served and got their refund. And some of them have to rebook. And we're in the process of rebooking right now. 2022, 2023, for cruises, you name it. So that's where we're at in this process. But while I was doing all these refunds and whatnot, I said, you know what, I need to better myself. And I jumped into the internet. And I always say, Nancy, it's not because you're next to me, but WPN kind of kept me alive, because all of the wonderful sessions to say, keep on going, learn this, learn how to go the Facebook, a little video. All this was thanks to our sisters in WPN, and I'm ever so grateful. And it was the time that I had now. I had time to focus on that. So I learned quite a bit. I'm very proud to tell you that the internet now is not as you know, foreign to me. I use it quite a bit, and I'm getting better at it, of course.
Well, and
And so,
let me just say something about you. So, yes, we are here for you, and always have been, and will continue to be for whatever phases and seasons we happen to be going through. And I remember we were doing, I think it might have been our sales and marketing boot camp or one of our momentum
yeah,
coaching sessions, and we put a challenge out there and said, if you get on Facebook Live, we're going to give you a prize, and you hadn't done one before.
right.
And you're like, okay, I'll do it tomorrow. And then I think it was Donna Blevins who's like,
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
you're going to do it
Do
right
it now. Yeah, it's true. Yes, and I've done it, and I do it more often now, and it's more comfortable. And but understand that when in our 25 years of just taking care of people, taking them around the world, doing all their travel. I mean, I do it in my sleep, so to speak. I understand the mechanics, and but the internet part, no, there was no time for that, if you will.
now.
But now, of course. So I thank you for that, without a doubt. And then because I'm a linguist, I speak many languages, and I'm fortunate because French, Spanish, etc. I've been tutoring and teaching people, on the side, and hopefully I have a website now. I'm trying to launch it to do it in earnest, but it was like too much, too fast. So I said I've got to take it in stride,
Yeah,
and
step by
yeah,
step, step
step
by
by
step.
step, because otherwise you get totally uptight, and that's no good.
No,
And then in the meantime, the agency is open. We're doing bus tours. We're taking a group to Helen, Georgia for Oktoberfest, in
oh, I
October.
love Helen,
Yeah,
Georgia.
yeah, it would be like going to Germany, so we're doing that.
Didn't you
And so,
recently take a trip to Alaska also?
yes, the celebrity invited certain agents to learn how the new rules affected your clients. So thank you for noticing. Yes, and I was able to put it on Facebook. It was fabulous, and I had to, kind of not relearn, but just to understand, when we send our clients, we have to warn them and tell them and coach them and tell them this is what to expect. And
Hmm.
so that was a trip. That was a wonderful trip. So if anyone has never been, put it on your bucket list. It's
Yeah,
it's God's country. It's
I
beautiful.
can't wait. It's on my list to get to Alaska for
Right,
sure,
right, right.
for
Yeah.
sure.
And my
Um,
big thing was Israel too. We did a lot of trips to Israel, and of course we have to wait. I
yeah.
did a lot of Christian tours and whatnot. So
Um,
yeah,
let
open book of travel. You tell me,
you
I
are.
can
Oh,
tell you.
you've
My
been
eyes
there.
closed.
Yes,
Yeah,
beautiful, beautiful. Well, I,
yeah,
I want to ask you a couple of questions about how you've come through so many challenges. I know that you left Haiti because of the political upset and the challenges that were happening in that country, and your family moved, and you've moved so many times.
yeah,
And what I notice about you is this indomitable spirit that is always seeing or looking for the bright side of things, no matter how busy you are, no matter how dire things are.
yeah.
How do Give some tips to our audience on how they can lift themselves up, especially going through some tough and challenging times?
Yeah, it's true. That was a gift from my mother. My mother was ever so positive, always telling me, you take lemon and make it lemonade, which you hear often. But she practiced it. And when we had to leave Haiti and to come into a completely new area, we had to learn the English and whatnot. But we went through the process, and I remember that it was always with confidence. My parents were always saying, we're going to be okay. It's going to be, telling us that not to be concerned. And of course, they were always there to kind of coach us. But I will tell you, and I will tell whoever is hearing us now, the key that for all of my siblings was that education was prime. It did not matter where we were, they were going to be sure that we were going to be well educated
Mhm.
and take us to the next level. And that was not even an option. We were going to study. And,
Knowledge
yeah,
is power.
and do
Knowledge
you
is
know that I will brag about my sister and us? After moving to the Virgin Islands, where it was in America, U.S. I mean English, we had to learn quickly, and the nuns put us in a higher. At Christmas, they said, you go study, and then if you do well, you will move you up, because we had already learned all these things, but in French. So anyway, so we moved over in Christmas, and they moved us to 10th and 11th grade. And for the next 2 years, my sister was salutatorian. I don't know if those who don't know what it
wow.
is, second in the class. And the year after, I was also salutatorian, because we knew we had to to study. We had to make it. And that's when our parents guided us to always say that that will be our richness, our wealth in the future, no matter what we did. It's what was upstairs. It didn't matter the color of your skin. It was what we had upstairs. And my father would always say that. It's what you have upstairs. And, I've used that. And when everything started crumbling down, that, well, first we moved to the Middle East and we had to learn to live with the Arabs. And it was just wonderful experience. And my kids were educated there. And today they're citizens of the world. They're comfortable, traveling. My son broke his jet charters. My son went for his reunion to Oman, a couple of years ago. My daughter works with us. So it's all about, sticking together and understanding that we have something we can share with others. It's not, you don't stay, oh my goodness, poor me. Oh, what happened to us? No, you go forward, say. And so finally, when COVID happened, I say, now what? What's the next step? And that's when I looked around. And I must say again, WPN, you have to, I have to recognize that it's just to be around positive people keeps you upbeat. And that helped me in a big way, more than because,
I am so
yeah,
grateful. And that's true. And I think that sometimes when challenge happens, you may want to isolate and not be around others. And the thing that I've noticed about our community is that you feel comfortable and safe showing up even when you're not feeling at the top of your game. Like just getting in the energy of it, whether you call in and you're not on video, just put yourself in that space is what I'm hearing.
and hearing it and absorbing it, and it becomes second nature after a while, because I will not allow myself or the agents when they come and say, oh no, I said, no, 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 we don't say it that way. So I'm teaching back to them, that, you live in the present and don't be negative, just go forward, and good things do happen. I mean, in all of this, good things did happen, too. And I was able to get the loan was forgiven, and it was all because I believed that it was good. I believed that I was going to get through this. And here we are today, and I'm in the office, as you can
You're
see.
in the office. I hear the agents in there
Yes, that's
buzzing
right.
with you.
Yeah,
Um, as
yeah.
we round out our conversation today, I'm just curious. You have traveled so many places all over the world. Is there two things? A place you haven't been to yet that's on your bucket list. So,
Yeah.
what's on your bucket list?
Yes, South America, I have not been able to reach out here because, as a rule, the American people were not keen in going. So because I escort them, so
Yeah,
definitely part of Chile, or I did go to Argentina, I must say, but all of South America, I would love to do. Maybe on a
explore that
cruise,
too.
and I speak Spanish, so I would be comfortable.
Awesome.
And all I will tell you that all the countries that I've visited, I've always felt comfortable.
Mhm.
And I will also tell you that when you give to the people, because we're visitors, and then we accept their way of life and whatnot, they come back to you in a big way, and they are always charming to our group. Always, always, never had issues because we were well accepted, well received. And I will give you another tip that when we were in Saudi Arabia, when we arrived, my husband and I had to sign a paper to say that we will live according to their culture. I'll never forget that. And if we did not, we would be either
Then you'd
deported.
be out of there.
And maybe I learned that, and when I came back and I started doing my thing, I said, you know what? We're not when we visit countries, we don't say, oh, how come they do that? No, you embrace. You embrace and you see how people live, and then you take the good out of that, and become a better person because you appreciate what you have back home. And
So let
so,
me,
yeah,
as I'm listening to you, I'm going to, if I was ever gonna, when I do travel, I want you by my side because you create the culture of the people within your group, no matter where they're from, to become part and really embrace that new culture. And that gives us such more complete experience of the place we're visiting,
Correct.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Awesome.
I was put on this earth to show people the rest of the world. I
I
think,
love it. I love it.
So I really I do it, and I do it well, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to continue,
For a
for a
very
few
long
more years.
time. Yeah,
For a few more years.
beautiful.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Well,
Nancy.
Gerry, thank
Yeah.
you for
Yeah.
being with us today on the Be Real, Get Real podcast. I
Yes.
so appreciate you, your spirit, all you give back, not only to
Thank
our community, but to the world.
What a
So
pleasure.
thank you.
I thank you, and I thank your sisters, and I love
Yes,
them all, Trish and Susan, which
I
is,
know.
and now I call Stephanie the fourth sister.
She is the fourth sister. That is
Sister,
for
she
sure.
is, she's so wonderful. Your whole staff is wonderful, and
We're blessed.
I am grateful to be part of your community. So thank
You're
you so
most
much.
welcome. All right. Thank you for
Okay.
joining us for
Yes.
the Be Real, Get Real podcast. We'll be back soon with another episode and another extraordinary woman to introduce you to.
Thank you.
Until we meet again, have an amazing day. Bye, everybody.
Thank
Bye, Gerry.
you. Okay, Nancy. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Okay. Okay.